Yes,
yeah.
yes, y'all.
Yes.
Yes, 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 yes,
Yeah.
y'all.
Yes, y'all.
I encourage you to see what you could really be. Put your mind into it and your goals you will achieve. You need to stay in school in order to succeed. Youth empowerment is the major key. I can.
You can. Yes, we can. Education, dedication is the major plan.
The best thing about being a mentor is to see their growth through the program, to see how they started and to see how they finished.
If you cannot connect with somebody else, if you cannot build relationships with somebody else, you will never be successful in life.
All my friends are into gangs, and I'm over here trying to, trying to become something in life, trying to be successful in life.
We, as the future leaders of tomorrow, must open the doors of education, not only for ourselves, but for the ones that follow. Building positive relationships between high school and middle school students can have an overwhelming impact in how we, as young future leaders, see ourselves. My mom says, "Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres." In other words, building positive or negative relationships can be a reflection of our character. As a graduating senior at Denver West High School and a future undergraduate at the University of Denver, I am proud to present this documentary, Building Character Through Youth Empowerment.
The Mayor's Office for Education and Children has as its vision advancing the education and well-being of all children in the city and county of Denver, which is this amazing goal. And in order to do that, we have to constantly look for great programs that are engaging young people in a meaningful way. Well, the link between Latino children and students and education is so profound because in order for our Latino youth to truly achieve their dreams, they must be educated. And our educational system, in order to do a great job with our Latino students, has to not only be respectful of who they are, but what strengths they come with. When Denver Public Schools wanted to look at how to improve the education at the high school level, they seated a commission, and the recommendations that came out of the Commission on Secondary Reform focused on the 3 R's: rigor, relevance, and relationships. And at the end of the day, if relationships aren't in place, you can have all the rigor and relevance in the world, but it won't mean as much. And so in some ways, I think it's like the heartbeat of what we need to see if we want great education happening in our middle schools and in our high schools.
Back in 1971, I was one of 3 people in the district who we were identified to become trained by the national government as Mexican American counselors. And so I was the one in those days who didn't know about social emotional intelligence, and I was the one that had the opportunity, along with other leaders from the entire country, to understand how much more fulfilling it is to be able to relate to another individual from a social emotional point of view. And we decided that we wanted to do a program for the students who needed it the most, and we went to Baker Middle School, and we were told by the principal that she would be happy to do this program and that she wanted us to work with children or students who had attendance problems.
The reason we wanted to welcome the YESS program into Baker Middle School is because we want to support our kids in actively engaging and connecting with the curriculum. But we also saw that there was an attendance problem, and the students who participate as participants in the YESS program are typically students who do have attendance issues. And so we thought if we could connect students with positive role models at West and provide culturally relevant activities and show them other young adults that have succeeded and are succeeding and are accessing the curriculum and loving it, that it would provide an incentive for our students to come to school and to continue to be successful as young adults when they enter high school.
We want our students to feel like they make a difference in the world. We want them to know that. And we have a slogan that the students will use that goes like this: it's think globally and act locally. So when they're thinking about issues around the world, we want them also to understand that every community issue is something that affects the rest of the world, and that all of these things come together. We want our students also to understand what community is about, because our world, as it shrinks with international connections, becomes more and more of a community. But the understanding of what community is really does come from our local communities. So we want our students to care about their own community. We want them to care about their peers and the younger students that are coming from them. So that's really how it fits into our mission with the Center for International Studies.
The West of Baker program focuses on 3 A's: academics, attitude, and their attendance. First of all, we do the tutoring part, which is where the high school student tutors the middle school student. On the second day, on the Thursday, where the peer educators from West work in small groups with the middle school students, they mainly deal with their attitude. And what we mean by that is that it's twofold, the attitude. It's one, their attitude towards themselves. How do they feel about themselves? How is their self-esteem? Do they really live up to their potential? Do they believe in their potential? And second, also, give them skills to have successful relationships. We all know that relationships, we always have conflict in relationships. The skill is how you deal with those conflicts. That is what makes you successful in relationships. The third part is, of course, their attendance. Attendance is the biggest problem at Baker Middle School. By creating the connection between the high school role model and the middle school kid feels regarded. The middle school kid feels suddenly important. Hey, here's this kid from West, this high school kid, who has so many friends, who can do so many things, and he or she chooses to hang out with me.
As a school social worker, you're dealing with a lot of issues that are negative, a lot of non-compliance. You're dealing with truancy, you're dealing with crisis, you're dealing with things such as suicide assessments, academic failure, dysfunctional homes, kids that are in trouble emotionally and socially. And I think to balance your job, you need to find something to do that's also very positive. I do believe it works, and I think it can be one of the most successful programs in order to have an influence on students and encourage them to continue with their education and graduate.
There are multiple dozens of examples of where Bill Daniels gave people who were hardworking, in need of either a second chance or of an opportunity, seemed willing to give back to their community. I'll give you one good example that I was involved in, of a young man named Jose Trejo, and he came up from Mexico. He won a spelling bee when he was in 3rd grade, not having known English when he moved up. He became the valedictorian of his high school class, and there was an article in the paper about him in the Los Angeles Times about his upbringing and coming up through the ranks, and Chelsea Clinton's. And they were both incoming freshmen at Stanford this year. And he came to me and asked me to read that article, and he said, "I want you to find that kid and tell him I'm paying for the rest of his college education." The term social emotional skills, I think, refers to knowing yourself and believing in people and treating them with dignity and respect. And that is personified by Bill Daniels. That's who he was.
I decided to go talk to some young kids that were my brother's age. I see my brother, and his friends messing up. So when I was their age, I had no guidance, no one to lead me into growing up and try to set a goal for me. So I decided to have some kids out, go talk to them, and show them what to do in life, and try to give them examples so they won't be messing up and try to be in gangs or into violence. All my friends are into gangs, and I'm over here trying to, trying to be comfortable in life, trying to be successful in life. I wake up every morning at 5 in the morning to run 4 miles, come to the gym. I go to school after I run. go to school, try to get my diploma, and then come to the gym like at 4:30, train till 8 every single day. My main goal is to make it to the 2008 Olympics.
Rick's determination is always what set him apart from everybody else. That's why he's went to the top of the class and youngest ever to make the Olympic trials and all that.
Well, I decided to become a mentor because the fact of helping people has really interested me. I see a world that needs a lot of help, and this is one way that I can contribute.
Last week, he helped my grades going up with helping me with my homework and my speech, kind of.
Boondocks, one of the field trips we went on in this program, me and my mentee hit it off pretty well. We had a lot of fun, we played a lot of games, and I think we really bonded.
I used to get straight A's, especially science and math. And so until I came to the YESS program, my tutor, Cynthia, she started helping me a lot, and she used to make it fun.
Because she knows that she has to do her homework, but she just wanted to spend time doing her homework with a friend, And even though she has friends, they're not going to help her out with homework.
Well, my mom thinks this program is really good because she noticed that my grades are up, and she says that this program helps me a lot.
Pues estoy muy a gusto en este programa. Se me hace que es muy bueno, no solamente para ella, sino para todos los alumnos. Y es una lástima que los alumnos no aprovechen estos programas, ¿verdad?, que da el distrito, porque la verdad sí le ayudan mucho a uno.
The most valuable thing of being a mentor is that I am helping a kid to be a better person in the future.
Well, I mean, it's really important that the students can communicate with the high schoolers.
The best thing about having a mentor is that they're always there for you. They can help you with stuff. The best thing I'd say is having fun with them.
I want to be a teacher. Well, that was one of the careers I was looking into, and I thought that this would help me prepare to become a teacher, and because I like working with little kids, because I have 2 younger brothers and a little sister, and my goal in life is to change or impact one other person's life in this world.
We created that bond because we spent the whole day together and we really talked about their lives, and we had fun and played games, and I guess that broke the ice, having fun.
I do know that Jamie, she knows Spanish, and I know absolutely no Spanish. And so I know two different languages other than English, and I was showing her those languages, and she was showing me Spanish.
Well, I felt like I needed a lot of help with my homework, and now I got caught up. And I felt like I didn't have no one to talk to, and now I have someone to talk to.
The best thing about the YESS program is when they come on Tuesdays, they can help you, if you don't understand math or something, and you understand all the other subjects in school, but you don't understand math, then they could help you with the math, and they can teach you about their life, and then you could teach them about your life.
I was happy because Miss Nadine showed me my grades. My grades were A, B, C's, and then I can be in the ABC party in the cafeteria and play games, eat food, and everything like that. And then I'm not gonna flunk. I want to be in 7th grade.
I grew up with a lot of challenges. Challenge for me was I've had difficulties trying to study or learning things or I've never saw more than what I could see in front of me. I never had a set goal for me to do. So I know that was kind of hard. Or if I had a goal, I saw it really far because of what I saw in my family or what I saw around the Hispanic people that I was around. And I grew up, got married pretty young, so that kind of set that off. It's I went from junior high to marriage, and that's been my life until now that I'll be going back to school. So that's now what I didn't do back then, because being a dropout, now I'm trying to do it now. It's kind of hard.
As soon as I graduate from high school, I plan to attend Harvard University, but through an ROTC scholarship. And the one I'm going after is, will actually pay for my whole entire college education, and I won't have to pay anything back except for 8 years in the military, but in a different basis than infantry. I will be an international lawyer. Well, ever since I was young, I saw everybody around me, you know, working and working. I never got to see my mom. She had 2 jobs, slept 3 hours a night, and then again she left. So I got to see her like half an hour a day, an hour a day, and even then I can't remember when those times were. And I don't want to grow up like that. I don't want to grow up in this environment where I have to worry about how am I going to pay the bills, how am I going to buy my kids food, how am I going to do my payments. I want to live comfortably, and like I've told my mom, I'm going to be the next Bill Gates, and I'll make sure of it. Because he's not just a man who has money and that's it. He contributes to society, and he doesn't let his kids grow up, you know, thinking that just because they're rich, that's their education, and they don't have to get anything else. You know, he makes them work for what they have, and he respects them for what they do work for. And he doesn't just take everything in vain, and that's how I want to be. I don't want to just live in society and die, and the next day nobody knows who I was. I want to make a contribution to where I grew up and where I came from, and make sure that, you know, my brothers and my little sister don't think that just because we're Mexicans or just because we're Latinos that we don't have anything going for us. You know, we have our whole lives ahead of us.
Yes, yes, y'all. Yes, 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 y'all. Yes, y'all. I encourage you to see what you could really be. Put your mind into it, and your goals you will achieve. You need to stay in school in order to succeed. Youth empowerment is the major key. I can. You can. Yes, we can. Education, dedication is the major plan. I can. You can. Yes, we can. Uniting all together, we can take a stand. I encourage you to see what you could really be. Put your mind into it, and your goals you will achieve. You need to stay in school in order to succeed. Youth empowerment is the major key.